Hey everybody, and welcome to Spoiled Without Spoilers, where we give you just enough of that spoilery goodness to hopefully get you excited for this story, but not completely ruin it. Today we're going to be checking out the third book in the High Republic series, Claudia Gray's Into the Dark. This is a young adult novel, and we follow a Jedi Padawan as he makes his way to Starlight Beacon to meet up with his master. We actually get a few references to this story in Light of the Jedi, so if you've read that, you'll definitely be somewhat familiar with the setup for this story. The great disaster happens and everything goes awry. Our Padawan, along with a few other Jedi, as well as some quirky but lovable pirates, try to figure out how to survive in open space until the hyperspace lanes can be cleared for travel again. Our main character in this story, the Padawan, Reef, he's more of a book nerd, and he really just would prefer to spend his time at the Jedi library on Coruscant. He really wants nothing to do with adventure, especially out in this new frontier in the Starlight Beacon. So he's really apprehensive to go on this whole journey in the first place, and I really love the character arc that Claudia Gray gives him throughout this story. Now, our other main character is one of those quirky pilots, Affy. I don't want to talk about too much of her story, as I think it starts to get into that spoiler territory, but I really do love the character arc. The two of them are really solid, and I really love that we got to spend a whole lot of time with them personally. We get some other really great characters, those other Jedi in the story, but my favorite of those secondary characters is one of the quirky pilots. I don't want to get too in depth into who that character is or what that character is, but once you see him in the story, you'll understand who I'm talking about. The minute I met that character in the book, I felt like I understood where his story was going to go and how she was going to use him. But throughout the book, you're never exactly sure if that's where she's going to go with the character. In the end though, it went exactly where I thought it was going to go, and I 100% believe that that was the right choice. That was the only way to use that character, and I'm so happy that she included a character like that in this story. While I did like this book, there are some drawbacks in my opinion. I was able to pick up a hardcover copy of this book actually a little bit earlier than the release date. My local book retailer had them sitting out and I just had to snag one. But I wanted to wait to do my review until I could listen to the audiobook. I am a huge fan of Star Wars audiobooks. The production quality is amazing, and this book is no different. However, I wasn't in love with the narration. I thought that this narrator was better than the narrator for Test of Courage, but it wasn't quite up there with Light of the Jedi or some of the other Star Wars novels that I've listened to. The Nihil are still the High Republic's big bad of the series, but they don't play as key of a role as you might think within this story. We get introduced to some new bad guys, and while I'm not totally in love with them or the way that they're portrayed in this book, I hope that they have an overall plan for how they want to utilize them in the rest of this series. The new baddies just felt a little cheesy to me. Now, we are only 3 books in, but I'm seeing some similarities between some of this material. Into the Dark and Test of Courage really have a similar setup to their plot. I understand what they're going for, and they want to give us a big overall picture of what's going on during the Great Disaster, but it's starting to get a little boring. I relate this to kind of how a lot of people felt during season 1 of The Mandalorian. Obviously, looking back on that season and seeing where it led up to in the end, we understand why we had to take all of these small little side journeys throughout that season. However, when you're watching it week by week, it can start to feel like the overall plot really isn't moving along. This kind of does the same thing, where it doesn't necessarily feel like there's a bigger overall story being told, but just a lot of small side stories that are being told within the bigger narrative of Light of the Jedi. I still want to be able to experience stories like that, but I'm not sure if these book releases are the place to do them, and something like Star Wars Insider might be a good place to show off some of those stories. I just really hope that the next few books in this series won't be focused on similar setups like this, and we can start to advance the overall plot of the High Republic forward. So overall, I do like this book. Claudia did a really good job at balancing character and action, so it really felt like every action sequence in this book had a reason and had a purpose. That is really up my alley. Sometimes I can get a little bored or a little lost in a lot of the pew-pew action scenes, but this did a really good job of pulling me in and keeping me engaged throughout this entire book. If you're looking for more High Republic stories, if you're a fan of Claudia Gray, or if you like character-driven stories like I do, I would highly recommend picking this book up. So thank you guys for checking out this video and checking out Into the Dark with us. In the comments below, please make sure to let us know what you thought of Claudia Gray's new book. If you like these spoiled without spoiler reviews, make sure to give this video a like. And if you'd like to see more of our reactions, reviews, plot summaries, and canon timeline binge, make sure to subscribe to our channel. As always guys, may the spires keep you, and may the Force be with you.